The economy of Turkey is defined as an emerging market economy by the IMF. Turkey is among the world's developed countries according to the CIA World Factbook. Turkey is also defined by economists and political scientists as one of the world's newly industrialized countries. Turkey has the world's 17th largest nominal GDP and 13th largest GDP by PPP. The country is among the world's leading producers of agricultural products, textiles, motor vehicles, transportation equipment, construction materials, consumer electronics and home appliances. Since August 2018, Turkey has been going through a currency and debt crisis, characterized by the Turkish lira, TRY, plunging in value, high inflation, rising borrowing costs, and correspondingly rising loan defaults. The crisis was caused by the Turkish economy's excessive current account deficit and foreign currency debt, in combination with the ruling Justice and Development Party's increasing authoritarianism and President Erdogan's unorthodox ideas about interest rate policy. The following table shows the main economic indicators in 1980 to 2017. Inflation under 5% is in green. As of 2016, Turkey is the world's largest producer of hazelnuts, cherries, figs, apricots, and pomegranates, the second largest producer of quinces and watermelons, the third largest producer of cucumbers, green peppers, lentils and pistachios, the fourth largest producer of apples, tomatoes, eggplants, and olives, the fifth largest producer of tea, chickpeas and sugar beet, the sixth largest producer of almonds and onions, the seventh largest producer of lemons, grapefruit, and cotton, and the eighth largest producer of barley. Turkey has been self-sufficient in food production since the 1980s. In the year 1989, the total production of wheat was 16.2 million tons, and barley 3.44 million tons. The agricultural output has been growing at a respectable rate. However, since the 1980s, agriculture has been in a state of decline in terms of its share in the total economy. The country's large agricultural sector accounted for 29.5% of the employment in 2009. Historically, Turkey's farmers have been fairly fragmented. According to the 1990 census, 85% of agricultural holdings were under 10 hectares and 57% of these were fragmented into 4 or more non-contiguous plots. Many old agricultural attitudes remain widespread. Turkey is dismantling the incentive system. Fertilizer and pesticide subsidies have been curtailed and remaining price supports have been gradually converted to floor prices. The government has also initiated many planned projects, such as the Southeastern Anatolia Project, GAP project. The program includes 22 dams, 19 hydraulic power plants, and the irrigation of 1.82 million hectares of land. The total cost of the project is estimated at $32 billion. The total installed capacity of power plants is 7,476 megawatts and projected annual energy production reaches 27 billion kilowatt-hour. The physical realization of GAP was 72.6% as of 2010. The livestock industry, compared to the initial years of the Republic, showed little improvement in productivity, and the later years of the decade saw stagnation. However, livestock products, including meat, milk, wool, and eggs, contributed to more than /3 of the value of agricultural output. Fishing is another important part of the economy. In 2005, Turkish fisheries harvested 545,673 tons of fish and aquaculture. The EU imported fruit and vegetables from Turkey worth €738.4 million up to September 2016, an increase of 21% compared to the same period in 2015, according to Eurostat data processed by FIPEX, Federación Española de Asociaciones de Productores. Turkey is the EU's fourth largest non-EU vegetable supplier and the seventh largest fruit supplier. The European Commission had already started the formal process for extending the Customs Union Agreement to agricultural products, before European Union-Turkey relations deteriorated and efforts to extend and modernize the Customs Union Agreement came to a halt in 2018. Oleo Officina Globe reported 2016 olive statistics for Turkey. There are 180 million trees covering 700,000 hectares, 1,700,000 acres, with a production of 500,000 tons, 490,000 long tons, 550,000 short tons, of table olives and 300,000 tons, 300,000 long tons, 330,000 short tons, of olive oil. Exports are 70,000 tons, 69,000 long tons, 77,000 short tons, of table olives and 60,000 tons, 59,000 long tons, 66,000 short tons, of olive oil a year. Edremit. Ayvalık is the main variety in northern Turkey and Memesik in the south. Gemlik is a black table olive and other varieties are Büyük Topak, Ulak, Sakır, Sekist, Çelebi, Sili, Demet, Eden Siksu, Igriburun, Erkans, Halil, İzmir Sofrak, Kalambazi Kansas Çelebi, Karamursal Su, Kilis Yaglık, Giraz, Manzanilla, Memeli, Nizip Yaglık, Samanlı, Sarhasbi, Sarulak, Sorani, Tasanuragi, Uslu, and Yegselebi. Turkey's Vestel is the largest TV producer in Europe, accounting for a quarter of all TV sets manufactured and sold on the continent in 2006. By January 2005, Vestel and its rival Turkish electronics and white goods brand Beko accounted for more than half of all TV sets manufactured in Europe. Another Turkish electronics brand, Profilo Telra, was Europe's third largest TV producer in 2005. EU market share of Turkish companies in consumer electronics has increased significantly following the customs union agreement signed between the EU and Turkey, in color TVs from 5% in 1995 to more than 50% in 2005, in digital devices from 3% to 15%, and in white goods from 3% to 18%. Turkish companies made clothing exports worth $13.98 billion in 2006, more than $10.67 billion of which, 76.33%, were made to the EU member states. In 2008, Turkey produced 1,225,400 motor vehicles, ranking as the fifth largest producer in Europe, behind the United Kingdom and above Italy, and the 12th largest producer in the world. The automotive industry is an important part of the economy since the late 1960s. The companies that operate in the sector are mainly located in the Marmara region. With a cluster of car makers and parts suppliers, the Turkish automotive sector has become an integral part of the global network of production bases, exporting over $22.94 billion worth of motor vehicles and components in 2008. Turkey's annual auto exports, including trucks and buses, surpassed 1 million units for the first time in 2016 as foreign automakers' investment in new models and a recovery in its mainstay European market lifted shipments. According to industry group the Automotive Manufacturers Association, or OSD, Turkey exported 1.14 million units in 2016, up 15% from the year before. Auto exports hit a record high for the fourth straight year. Production grew 9% year-on-year in 2016 to 1.48 million units, setting a new record for the second consecutive year. Nearly 80% of vehicles produced in Turkey were exported. Tulimsiz, 1894, Tivashaz, 1951, and Eurotem, 2006, are among the major producers of multiple-unit trains, locomotives and wagons in Turkey, including high-speed EMU and DMU models. Turkey has many modern armament manufacturers. Annual exports reached $1.6 billion in 2014. Mkek, Tai, Aselsan, Roketsan, FNSS, Neural Machina, Otokar, and Havelsan are major manufacturers. On July 11, 2002, Turkey became a Level 3 partner of the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter (JSF) development program. TAI builds various aircraft types and models, such as the F-16 Fighting Falcon for the Turkish Air Force. Turkey has recently launched domestically built new military/intelligence satellites, including a 0.8 meters resolution reconnaissance satellite project Göktürk-1 for use by the Turkish Armed Forces and a 2 meters resolution reconnaissance satellite project Göktürk-2 for use by the Turkish National Intelligence Organization. Other important products include the Altay main battle tank, A400M, TAI TFX, TF2000 class all frigate, Milchan class corvette, TAI Anka UAV, Aselsan ISC UGV, T155 Fırtına self-propelled howitzer, J600T missile, T-129 attack helicopter, Roketsan UMTAS anti-tank missile, Roketsan SIRT laser-guided rocket, Panzerhowitzer, ACV-300, Otokar Cobra and Akrep, VMC, Kirpi, FNSS PARS 6x6 and 8x8 APC, Neuralidthar 6x6 APC, Taurus artillery rocket system, Bayraktar mini UAV, A-Selpad, and Some cruise missile. Turkey ranks 8th in the list of countries by steel production. In 2013, total steel production was 29 million tons. Turkey's crude steel production reached a record high of 34.1 million tons in 2011. Notable producers, above 2 million tons, and their ranks among top steel producing companies. Erdemir, 7.1 million tons, 47th, only Erdemir Turkey. Erdemir Romania is not included. Abbas, 4.4 million tons, 72nd. Istas, 3.6 million tons, 76th. Dalar, 2.3 million tons, 108th. Salikoglu, 2.1 million tons, 110th. TÜBİTAK is the leading agency for developing science, technology and innovation policies in Turkey. TÜBİ is an autonomous scholarly society acting to promote scientific activities in Turkey. TEK is the official nuclear energy institution of Turkey. Its objectives include academic research in nuclear energy, and the development and implementation of peaceful nuclear tools. Turkish government companies for research and development in military technologies include Turkish Aerospace Industries, Aselsan, Havelsan, Roketsan, MKE, among others. Turkish Satellite Assembly, Integration and Test Center is a spacecraft production and testing facility owned by the Ministry of National Defense and operated by the Turkish Aerospace Industries. The Turkish Space Launch System is a project to develop the satellite launch capability of Turkey. It consists of the construction of a spaceport, the development of satellite launch vehicles as well as the establishment of remote Earth stations. The Turkish construction and contracting industry is made up of a large number of businesses, the largest of which was ranked 40th in the world by size. In 2016, a total of 39 Turkish construction/contracting companies were listed in the top 250 international contractors list prepared by the Engineering News Record. Over half of Turkey's building stock contravenes housing regulations. An amnesty program to register illegal constructed buildings brought in $3.1 billion, but the safety issues largely remain. In mid-February 2019, an 8-story building that was registered in the amnesty collapsed, killing 21 people. As Turkey is prone to strong earthquakes, poor building quality is even more concerning. In 2013 there were 98 airports in Turkey, including 22 international airports. As of 2015, Istanbul Ataturk Airport is the 11th busiest airport in the world, serving 31,833,324 passengers between January and July 2014, according to Airports Council International. The new third International Airport of Istanbul/Wiki/%C4%B0 Istanbul_new_airport is planned to be the largest airport in the world, with the capacity to serve 150 million passengers per annum. Turkish Airlines, flag carrier of Turkey since 1933, was selected by Skytrax as Europe's best airline for 5 consecutive years from 2011 and 2015. With 435 destinations, 51 domestic and 384 international, in 126 countries/Wiki/Turkish_Airlines_destinations, worldwide, Turkish Airlines is the largest carrier in the world by number of countries served as of 2016. The total length of the rail network was 10,991 kilometers in 2008, ranking 22nd in the world, including 2,133 kilometers of electrified track. The Turkish State Railways started building high-speed rail lines in 2003. The first line, which has a length of 533 kilometers from Istanbul, Turkey's largest metropolis, via Eskişehir to Ankara, the capital, is under construction and will reduce the traveling time from 6 to 7 hours to 3 hours and 10 minutes. The Ankara-Eskişehir section of the line, which has a length of 245 kilometers and a projected travel time of 65 minutes, is completed. Trials began on April 23, 2007, and revenue-earning service began on March 13, 2009. The Eskişehir-Istanbul section of the line is scheduled to be completed by 2012, and includes the Marmara Tunnel, which will enter service in 2012 and establish the first direct railway connection between Europe and Anatolia's second high-speed rail line, which has a length of 212 kilometers between Ankara and Konya, become operational in 2011. As of 2010, the country had a roadway network of 426,951 kilometers, including 2,080 kilometers of expressways and 16,784 kilometers of divided highways. As of 2010, the Turkish merchant marine included 1,199 ships, 604 registered at home, ranking 7th in the world. Turkey's coastline has 1,200 kilometers of navigable waterways. In 2008, 7,555 kilometers, 4,694 miles, of natural gas pipelines and 3,636 kilometers, 2,259 miles, of petroleum pipelines spanned the country's territory. As of 2008, there were 17,502,000 operational landline telephones in Turkey, which ranked 18th in the world, while there were 65,824,000 registered mobile phones in the country, which ranked 15th in the world during the same year. The largest landline telephone operator is Türk Telekom, which also owns TNet, the largest internet service provider in Turkey. The largest mobile phone operators in the country are Turkcell, Vodafone Turkey, Avia and TNet Mobile. The telecommunications liberalization process started in 2004 after the creation of the Telecommunication Authority, and is still ongoing. Private sector companies operate in mobile telephony, long-distance telephony and internet access. Additional digital exchanges are permitting a rapid increase in subscribers. The construction of a network of technologically advanced intercity trunk lines, using both fiber optic cable and digital microwave radio relay, is facilitating communication between urban centers. The remote areas of the country are reached by a domestic satellite system, while the number of subscribers to mobile cellular telephone service is growing rapidly. The mainline international telephone service is provided by the CME-3 submarine communications cable and by submarine fiber optic cables in the Mediterranean Sea and Black Sea that link Turkey with Italy, Greece, Israel, Bulgaria, Romania, and Russia. In 2002, there were 12 Intelsat satellite Earth stations, and 328 mobile satellite terminals in the Inmarsat and Eutelsat systems. Turksat A.S. is the primary communications satellite operator of Turkey, controlling the Turksat series of satellites. Tubatek and Turkish aerospace industries have developed scientific observation satellites and reconnaissance satellites like the Rasat, Göktürk-1 and Göktürk-2. As of 2001, there were 16 AM, 107 FM, and 6 shortwave radio stations in the country. As of 2015, there were 42,275,017 internet users in Turkey, which ranked 15th in the world, while as of 2012, there were 7,093,000 internet hosts in the country, which ranked 16th in the world. Tourism is one of the most dynamic and fastest developing sectors in Turkey. According to travel agencies TÜİAG and Thomas Cook, 11 of the 100 best hotels of the world are located in Turkey. In 2005, there were 24,124,501 visitors to the country, who contributed $18.2 billion to Turkey's revenues, with an average expenditure of $679 per tourist. In 2008, the number of visitors rose to 30,929,192, who contributed $21.9 billion to Turkey's revenues. For 2011, The World Tourism Organization, UNDO, reported 34,654,000 arrivals and $25 billion in receipts for Turkey. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, in 2012 travel and tourism made a total contribution of 10.9% to Turkish GDP and supported 8.3% of all jobs in the country. Over the years, Turkey has emerged as a popular tourist destination for many Europeans, competing with Greece, Italy and Spain. Resorts in provinces such as Antalya and Muğla, which are located on the Turkish Riviera, have become very popular among tourists. The Central Bank of the Republic of Turkey, Türkiye Cumhuriyet Merkez Bankası, was founded in 1930, as a privileged joint stock company. It possesses the sole right to issue notes. It also has the obligation to provide for the monetary requirements of the state agricultural and commercial enterprises. All foreign exchange transfers are exclusively handled by the central bank. Originally established as the Ottoman Stock Exchange, Dürzadekti Hilak Borsas, in 1866, and reorganized to its current structure at the beginning of 1986, the Istanbul Stock Exchange, ISE, is the sole securities market of Turkey. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, Bankalar Caddesi, Bank Street, in Istanbul was the financial center of the Ottoman Empire, were the headquarters of the Ottoman Central Bank, established as the Bank Osmani in 1856, and later reorganized as the Bank Osmani Isfahan in 1863, and the Ottoman Stock Exchange, 1866, were located. Bankalar Caddesi continued to be Istanbul's main financial district until the 1990s, when most Turkish banks began moving their headquarters to the modern central business districts of Levent and Mislak. In 1995, the Istanbul Stock Exchange moved to its current building in the İstaniye Quarter. The Istanbul Gold Exchange was also established in 1995. The stock market capitalization of listed companies in Turkey was valued at $161,537,000,000 in 2005 by the World Bank. Until 1991, establishing a private sector bank in Turkey wasn't easy and was subject to strict government controls and regulations. On October 10, 1991, 10 days before the general elections of October 20, 1991, the INAP government of Prime Minister Mesut Yilmaz gave special permissions to 5 prominent businessmen, who had close links to the government, to establish their own small-scale private banks. These were Kent Bank, owned by Suzur, Park Yatırım Bankası, owned by Kara Mehmet, Toprak Bank, owned by Toprak, Bank Express, owned by Batil, and Alternative Bank, owned by Dogan. They were followed by other small-scale private banks established between 1994 and 1995, during the DIP government of Prime Minister Tansu Çiller, who introduced drastic changes to the banking laws and regulations, which made it very easy to establish a bank in Turkey, but also opened many loopholes in the system. In 1998, there were 72 banks in Turkey, most of which were owned by construction companies that used them as financial assets for siphoning money into their other operations. As a result, in 1999 and 2001, the DSP government of Prime Minister Bülent Ecevit had to face 2 major economic crises that were caused mostly by the weak and loosely regulated banking sector, the growing trade deficit, and the devastating Izmit earthquake of August 17, 1999. The Turkish lira, which was pegged to the US dollar prior to the crisis of 2001, had to be floated, and lost an important amount of its value. This financial breakdown reduced the number of banks to 31. Prime Minister Bülent Ecevit had to call the renowned economist Kemal Dervish to tidy up the economy and especially the weak banking system so that a similar economic crisis would not happen again. At present, the Turkish banking sector is among the strongest and most expansive in East Europe, the Middle East and Central Asia. During the past decade since 2001, the Turkish lira has also gained a considerable amount of value and maintained its stability, becoming an internationally exchangeable currency once again, in line with the inflation that dropped to single-digit figures since 2003. The economy grew at an average rate of 7.8% between 2002 and 2005. Fiscal deficit is benefiting, though in a small amount, from large industrial privatizations. Banking came under stress beginning in October 2008 as Turkish banking authorities warned state-run banks against the pullback of loans from the larger financial sectors. More than 34% of the assets in the Turkish banking sector are concentrated in the Agricultural Bank, Ziraat Bankası, Housing Bank, Yapı Kredi Bankası, İşbank, Türkiye İş Bankası, and Akbank. The five big state-owned banks were restructured in 2001. Political involvement was minimized and loaning policies were changed. There are also numerous international banks, which have branches in Turkey. A number of Arabian trading banks, which practice in Islamic banking, are also present in the country. Government regulations passed in 1929 required all insurance companies to reinsure 30% of each policy with the Milli Reassurance T.A.S. National Reinsurance Corporation, which was founded on February 26, 1929. In 1954, life insurance was exempted from this requirement. The insurance market is officially regulated through the Ministry of Commerce. After years of low levels of foreign direct investment, FDI, in 2007 Turkey succeeded in attracting $21.9 billion in FDI and is expected to attract a higher figure in following years. A series of large privatizations, the stability fostered by the start of Turkey's EU accession negotiations, strong and stable growth, and structural changes in the banking, retail, and telecommunications sectors have all contributed to the rise in foreign investment. In recent years, the chronically high inflation has been brought under control, and this has led to the launch of a new currency, the new Turkish lira, on January 1, 2005, to cement the acquisition of the economic reforms and erase the vestiges of an unstable economy. On January 1, 2009, the new Turkish lira was renamed once again as the Turkish lira, with the introduction of new banknotes and coins. In 2014, 12 Turkish companies were listed in the Forbes Global 2000 list, an annual ranking of the top 2,000 public companies in the world by Forbes magazine. Banking industry leads with 5 companies in the list, followed by telecommunication industry, which has 2 companies in the list. There are also 2 conglomerates, followed by transportation and beverages industries with 1 companies each. As of 2014, listed companies were: Turkey is an oil and natural gas producer, but the level of production by the state-owned POW isn't large enough to make the country self-sufficient, which makes Turkey a net importer of both oil and gas. However, the recent discovery of new oil and natural gas fields in the country, particularly off the Black Sea coast of northern Anatolia, as well as in eastern Thrace, the Gulf of Iskenderun, and in the provinces of the southeastern Anatolia region near the borders with Syria and Iraq, will help Turkey to reach a higher degree of self-sufficiency in energy production. The pipeline network in Turkey included 1,738 kilometers, 1,080 miles, for crude oil, 2,321 kilometers, 1,442 miles, for petroleum products, and 708 kilometers, 440 miles, for natural gas in 1999. The Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline, the second longest oil pipeline in the world, was inaugurated on May 10, 2005. The pipeline delivers crude oil from the Caspian Sea basin to the port of Ceyhan on Turkey's Mediterranean coast, from where it is distributed with oil tankers to the world's markets. The planned Nabucco pipeline will also pass from Turkey and provide the European Union member states with natural gas from the Caspian Sea basin. The Blue Stream, a major trans-Black Sea gas pipeline, is operational since November 17, 2005, and delivers natural gas from Russia to Turkey. The Tabriz-Ankara pipeline is a 2,577-kilometer long, 1,601-mile, natural gas pipeline, which runs from Tabriz in northwestern Iran to Ankara in Turkey. The pipeline was commissioned on July 26, 2001. In Erzurum, the South Caucasus pipeline, which was commissioned on May 21, 2006, is linked to the Iran-Turkey pipeline. In the future, these 2 pipelines will be among the main supply routes for the planned Nabucco pipeline from Turkey to Europe. To cover the increasing energy needs of its population and ensure the continued raising of its living standards, Turkey plans to build several nuclear power plants. Following the construction of experimental reactors, proposals to build large-scale nuclear power plants were presented as early as in the 1950s by Turkish Atomic Energy Authority, but plans were repeatedly cancelled even after bids were made by interested manufacturers because of high costs and safety concerns. Turkey has always chosen CANDU reactors because they burn natural uranium, which is cheap and available locally, and because they can be refueled online. This has caused uneasy feelings among Turkey's neighbors because they are ideal for producing weapons-grade plutonium. Turkey's first nuclear power plants are expected to be built in Mersin's Akkuyu district on the Mediterranean coast, in Sinop's Seberun district on the Black Sea coast, and in Kırklareli Zigniyata district on the Black Sea coast. Turkey has the fifth highest direct utilization and capacity of geothermal power in the world. Turkey is a partner country of the EU Integrate Energy Program, which has four key topics: enhancing energy security, convergence of member state energy markets on the basis of EU internal energy market principles, supporting sustainable energy development, and attracting investment for energy projects of common and regional interest. The proportion of renewable energy in Turkey is twice the EU average, at around 25 to 26%. Turkey plans to raise this to 30% by 2023. The share of renewable energy, which serves as one of the most important pillars of the national energy and mine policy and led by hydro, wind and solar energy, reached 32% in the third quarter of 2017, surpassing the target of 30% that was set for 2023. Turkey led the way in Europe with an increase of 1.79 gigawatts in solar capacity, making the country one of the most promising markets in terms of solar business. Turkey is the 10th-ranked producer of minerals in the world in terms of diversity. Around 60 different minerals are currently produced in Turkey. The richest mineral deposits in the country are boron salts. Turkey's reserves amount to 72% of the world's total. According to the CIA World Factbook, other natural resources include coal, iron ore, copper, chromium, uranium, antimony, mercury, gold, barite, borate, celestine, strontium, emery, feldspar, limestone, magnesite, marble, perlite, pumice, pyrites, sulfur, clay, arable land, hydropower, and geothermal power. With the establishment of the Turkish Environment Ministry on August 9, 1991, currently the Ministry of Environment and Urban Planning, Turkey began to make significant progress addressing some of its most important environmental problems. The most dramatic improvements were significant reductions of air pollution in Istanbul and Ankara. The most urgent needs are for water treatment plants, wastewater treatment facilities, solid waste management and the conservation of biodiversity. The country's wealth is mainly concentrated in the northwest and west, while the east and southeast suffer from poverty, lower economic production and higher levels of unemployment. However, in line with the continuous economic growth in Turkey during the recent decade, parts of Anatolia began reaching a higher economic standard. These cities are known as the Anatolian Tigers.